I'm back. Sorry about that, people. One of the issues with this place is that they kick you off the internet every so often, and I don't know why I have to relog back in. I take my kids here, so I've had experience with this before. So I was worried about this, but here we are, part 2. Let's get crazy. See if we got any people in the chat. Give me a second here.
Yeah, that would be.
Because this morning's problems was not the fact that I was doing it here. I don't know why I kept getting kicked off, but we'll go with that. So let's you know what? I think this seems to be working perfectly fine. Why don't we try it where I have this up? I'm actually watching this thing while we're doing it. Now, So I'm here with my new friends D&D, in case you're starting with part 2 for some reason.
Hello.
And we're just all drawing and having fun here. And I am working on inking a cover of a Doctor Strange comic, issue 16 from the Jason Aaron run by the great Kevin Nowlan, who is one of my favorite artists and definitely my favorite inker. There's some artists I happen to like a little more than him, but I love his work.
Oh my God, you're almost done.
And the choice is it because I love how he draws hands. I haven't even gotten to the hands because I'm procrastinating on the hands. I love drawing faces.
Santa, so.
Well, I mean, if you go from dark to light, it just, that way and just fade to white.
That's true.
Because the sky does get darker as you go up.
That's true.
I am full of good ideas.
That's going to take forever. And actually, I need a gray for the shark.
And you got to get his cheeks all rosy.
I know. I need to do something with his face, too. And his mittens. I'm not sure what color to make his mittens.
We're discussing a drawing of Santa Claus fishing for a hammerhead shark. In case you're wondering.
Of course. It's important art.
Which we are not seeing right now. I do actually have viewers who watch these things later. So, I get comments, son of a red shirt. Oh, hey, it's Comic Tropes. Eye on the right done. I don't know. Is the eye on the right done? Sorry, hello, Comic Tropes. Comic Tropes is one of my favorite YouTube channels, and if you're not watching his channel, I highly recommend that you check it out. It's a lot of fun looking at comics. I think your husband would like that.
I'll tell him about it.
Yeah. No, rock solid show. It's equally funny as it is informative. And I know a lot of this stuff, as you can tell from me sitting here just spitballing off the top of my head the history of publishing of Bone.
Yeah, I have to mention that too.
Yeah, I think I need a little more work on the right eye. It does look a little swollen. I think it's because of all the black that I use. But I think if I use some black at the bottom, that's going to balance out the colors. It might not look as swollen. And if I fill in with a little more line work, I think that'll do the trick. But you're right, it does look swollen. Thank you for pointing that out. What just happened? Oh, I hate this. Hold up. Okay, where did it go? Nolan is God. I was just talking about how much I love Kevin Nolan's work and my memories of his. My first real realization of what he could do as an inker was Batman Sword of Azrael, where he took this young artist, Joe Quesada, and really made his work sing and show that, Joe Quesada is like, going to be ready for primetime real soon. And sure enough, I think we all know what happened to that story. I don't know if you saw, Kevin Nowlan actually was interacting with me on Twitter. Which my little 15-year-old in my head was just like completely freaking out, going like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's Kevin Nowlan. Which, true story, when I was, yeah, of course it's going to be a true story. When I was, God, I would have been 14 or 15 at this time. I met Peter David, and they only were allowing comics being signed by, only 3 comics at a time being signed by him. So I had my mom get like a bunch of other comics signed by him. And my mom starts up a conversation with him, and I was so embarrassed at the time. I just remember thinking, Mom, stop talking to Peter David. Which me and my wife just joke around about all the time. I didn't actually say, Mom, stop talking to Peter David, but that was my thought. Oh my God, Mom, why are you talking to Peter David? Which Peter David was a longtime writer on The Incredible Hulk. In fact, I think from the leaked fan art from the next Avengers film, they're going to be using Professor Hulk, which is one of his ideas.
Oh, cool.
And he's also written, I don't know if you ever remember the TV show Babylon 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he wrote a couple episodes of that show, and he's done a little here and there on TV. He had a TV series with Bill Mummy I never watched. I don't think anybody did. I wanted to. It just never had an opportunity to. I'm getting close to those fingers. I'm like postponing on those fingers, if you're wondering. Let's get a little darker here. I'm postponing on those fingers because, like, the whole point of me doing this is for the for drawing the fingers, but just, my brain when I'm inking, I'm always starting off with the face. Let's see here. What do you guys think? Does his eye look swollen to you?
I mean, it does look like he got punched a little bit. Yeah. I think it's.
I mean, he's got a lot of bags under his eyes and the pencils, because, let me just switch it out for you. So,
It's because his lid looks thicker on the other side.
On-
Eyelid. The upper eyelid.
on this side?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think I went a little
Put down
dark
the
on it.
pencils, so, yeah.
I'm just going to have to, like, erase part of it and just get back in there.
Alright, I think I'm done.
I kind of want to do like a night sky with some stars. He's fishing for sharks at night because
Yeah, why not?
because that way you could do like a dark.
You wanna keep
Dark
going?
blue.
I can turn this over.
No, it's fine. I can finish it out. Because I feel like it's going to take me forever to color this.
I don't know. That still looks bruised.
He's gonna be jelly.
Looks better, though.
Yeah, now it looks. Yeah, they look more even.
Okay, good.
Did you
So how is it going, Chris? If you're still watching. I just killed my beer. My beer is dead. Oops. The beauty with working digitally is when I say oops, I can just hit a button and I undo it.
Control Z is your friend.
Yes. So are y'all leaving?
Yeah, I think so. I've got to go to work tomorrow.
Well, it has been an absolute pleasure
Yeah.
drinking and drawing with you.
Yes. Good luck with the rest of the live stream.
Thank you.
Look at the guy's face.
It won't fit anywhere.
Here, try this one.
Maybe.
Yeah, here you go.
But yeah, if you want to start with like the best episodes of Comic Tropes, I highly recommend the episode on lettering and the episode on Steve Ditko.
Interesting.
It was like right after Steve Ditko passed away, and it was a really like the best thing I saw on Steve Ditko after he died. And I've read books on Steve Ditko. I think there's only one book on him, but that's okay.
You've read multiple anyway.
I've read all of it.
What's your name?
Andy.
So it's nice to meet you.
Although if you see it online, it's Evening Cool Down with Jay and Your World, inking Kevin Nowlan, and you'll see parts 1 and 2. And there could be a part 3, because at the rate I'm going right now.
Yeah, you have to turn off the Wi-Fi again.
I'm just talking away.
Cool. Well, nice meeting you.
All right.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Crash sitting on those hands because I was mentioning this in part 1 about how much I adore Kevin Nolan's hands, those knuckles and the joints is just absolutely phenomenal. So I'm working on putting that off as much as possible until You know what? I don't think this can go into a circle, can it? It's just an ellipse tool. Why is this ellipse tool stuck? I wanted a circle. Okay. Maybe I just found one of the problems with this program. All right. Ooh, let's see here. I should tell another story while I'm working here. It's a little hard because all I have in my head right now is, Mom, stop talking to Peter David. I should totally just clip that out. Tag him on Twitter. which is probably way beyond my skill sets and technical abilities to be able to do, but we'll go with it. I think it'd be fun. So I was talking this morning about Rob Liefeld's staccato lines and how that's completely underappreciated. And I'm going to say it again. I don't quite know if I can actually work that into this. Just looking at what I'm working with and how heavy the shadows are. But Kevin Nowlan does tend to work a little heavy on the shadows. So might not be able to work any of that kind of, the staccato stuff into it. But be interesting to try. And hopefully I am pronouncing that right. One of the things I find weird about doing live stream is, and most people don't know this, I am fully deaf in my left ear, and I have been as long as I can remember. And so I mispronounce things all the time because I pronounce them how I hear it. Also, I misspell things all the time because I grew up in Georgia and they taught me to spell it like it sounds. Which the problem is when you're half deaf, you're not hearing things right. I know it's an Italian word. And I've been thinking about it since I watched the episode of, what is that? Comic Book Greats with Rob Liefeld, where Stan Lee interviewed Rob Liefeld. There was a bit of trolling from Stan Lee. Stan Lee trolled him. Todd McFarlane trolled him. He trolled himself. One of my favorite moments of the Comic Book Greats, which is actually the one I owned on VHS, which was the one with Jim Lee, Will Spertatio, Rob Liefeld, and Todd McFarlane talking about how to make comics. And the fun thing about that was like one of my favorite moments is just like Will Spertatio goes in and he explains really simply how to draw the anatomy, and I'm just like when I saw this I was like 14 and it just totally stuck with me. It's I quote it all the frickin' time because it's just so fantastic. And as he's doing this, Rob Liefeld's like, oh, well, when I draw the anatomy, I just kind of, do whatever. And this hand slowly creeps in from the side of the screen, pointing at him. And you hear Todd McFarlane's voice go, and that's why your anatomy sucks. So a few months after I'd gotten that was like a birthday present. And that fall, me and my buddy Gabriel Horn, which check him out